sheep took off the short slip. Land was held in common and transferred by word and deed. New deeds came written on paper, and with the transfer of paper, land was ceded to the new lords and masters. Land that was seeded and sown before was turned to grass and forage for herds of sheep and goats and cattle that consumed the world. There was no battle, no need for one wherever the flag unfurled. People came forward and called out the foul. No changes came because of the money changers. All the while now the paper covered the land. In order to own it you needed paper in hand. Supported by court and beliefs they unloaded from ships. Laws of strangers, the behaviors they grew from. Left over from empire built on sword and blood. Corporations and royalties spread like a flood. Once flourishing communities that produced enough to trade with were broken down and starved with nothing left to fight with. Iron and brass and all of the weapons were sold by food or forage for grass. Hunger turned to danger and starvation came around. Conquerors offered to transport people to new lands they found. Off they went in droves and crowds upon the sea lanes, where they built up other countries and civilized in strange ways. Back home in the country, though starvation took those left behind, military masters were not so very kind. Food to eat was rationed for the natives, while the corporations stripped the place bare for their savings. Corn and wheat and meat and cheese, dairy, sheep and fine things, lifted up and carted away, sailed upon the sea, bringing new gold and hoarding to the well-dressed thieves. Robber barons armed with pikes and cannon, dressed in metal greaves, stomping down the children, sending off the parents, counting out the profits and talents. Grief settled upon the people, they were herded to the steeple. A new religion dawning, featuring heaven and a new thing yawning. Below you will go, chanted the voice of the new king. If you don't follow the laws, then to the devil you will sing. In silent places, when all was calm, mothers raised their children and settled them with balm. While all around, the wars began to play, good for the warmongers from across the bay. Back and forth went the foolish slave, taking first the peacemakers and taking their plans. Some went along and some went back, others gathered what they could in burlap sacks. Boarded other ships and then they cast away, heading for some freedom from being driven into clay. Now comes the time to remember and recall, first all the fighting and then the fall. Rising again and rebuilding what was broken, speaking the old stories that set the children awoke. In ancient tales the story goes, were waffle imagination. We all know, however, they are bedrock of the nation. Ireland may come and Ireland may go, Ireland forever though is something we all know. Within our hearts forever sings a song of songs, though we cannot and will not take revenge for wrongs. Think otherwise, try it God. Was rationed, but the natives subdued, while the corporations stripped the place bare for their savings. Corn and wheat and meat and cheese, dairy, sheep and fine things, lifted up and carted away.